like there's no tomorrow.
Welcome to the BingKing.
Listen, buddy, you don't want to get me started.
What's your thought on Australians? What's your...
They're all right.
Oh, fuck.
Oh,
that
they're
was...
not
Oh,
a-
come on,
It's
man.
not a race,
Yeah.
though. Crikey. Mate.
That's getting real racial now, isn't it? It starts to make it real ethnic then, eh?
Whenever, like, what's his name? Whenever Stoyle's a Vanguard, or there's the guy who's, like, he's the videographer for Josh Saunders' like website.
Oh,
yeah?
the mink guy, whatever.
His name's like Jake.
Yeah.
Like long
I
hair.
only know him. I don't know, like the...
Whenever
company.
he's like there, if he walks in the gym, everybody just goes like, "Crikey,
Crikey, mate.
crikey."
Yeah, that's actually how we say hello to each other.
Yeah.
That's
No,
like-
not really though, right?
No,
Or
for real,
yeah.
for real.
Yeah.
I thought it was just
This
this.
motherfucker over here. He's like...
I've never been. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, maybe. Okay.
Anyways, hello everyone. I have Dean and Justin here with me. We're gonna hear talk about. I guess Dean's back in town, so I kind of hear about what's different back in at home and what's different here. Now that you've kind of experienced both.
Yeah, I mean, everyone in America is just, I mean, they're just a bit more serious about training because there's like competitions all the time.
Yeah.
Sorry, I shouldn't say America, like in New York.
Yeah.
So like there's competitions in like New York and New Jersey and Connecticut.
Tri-state area.
Yeah. So everybody like, they're always trying to hit up a competition whenever they can. There's like all these competitions on Long Island from this promotion called, well, there's a few, but the big one is called LIJJN, like, so like Long Island Jiu-Jitsu Network or something. And they have like competitions, I feel like at least like once a month.
Is it like a cash prize or like what's...
Yeah.
like, why do people do it?
No, I don't think there might be a cash prize for some of them. I haven't done it yet, so I'm not sure, but they have tournaments and super fights, and they just had like a quintet style like team event for like a
That's
few
huge.
a few gyms on
That's
the
big.
yeah, it was like a few gyms in New York.
Yeah.
And that was like that was a big deal because one of the gyms I teach at called Monarch, they had like we had a team, and they fought like some other gyms on the islands team, and it's like all the gyms like know each other and might not have the best relationship, so it makes it a little bit more
Cool,
intense.
it makes it spicy. That makes
Yeah.
it like
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
That's so much fun.
And then there's another organization called TAP that does some tournaments. Like Gianni Grippo just did one. He like entered the tournament.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
So like I think a lot of these places, I think TAP takes place like in a 10th Planet gym, and then it's on like Flow Grappling and stuff. LIJJN is also on Flow Grappling, and that one, I don't think it takes place it might take place in a gym, but I don't think it does. But either way, like they put some like production into it and stuff, and
Yeah.
it's like a state. It's like almost like the like Fight to Win,
Right.
which Fight to Win happens too. There's just like so much grappling competition happening all the time, so the guys at the gym are just like way more. They just take it more seriously because they're always training for something.
Yeah.
Like there's one blue belt. Shout out my boy Off Top. He is this
Wait, his name's Off Top?
Off
Get it.
Top. Yeah, he's this
Oh.
Pakistani dude,
Alright.
and he's
He's Off Top. That's
Top.
a sick name.
Off Top. He dude, he's a blue belt. Fuck, I don't know if I can show you the video now, but like basically, I can show you, right?
Just send us the video. Yeah. What does it look
Yeah,
like?
it's just like he just goes and competes constantly, and I might have sent it to you guys. He basically did this. He went kind of viral because he did this guillotine where he guillotined the guy and picked the whole guy up off the mat.
I've seen a couple of those.
He's just like he's like a bigger guy. He's like kind of fat, but
Yeah.
like I know he competes literally like every weekend.
Jesus.
He does a blue belt because he can. That's what you can do there.
Right.
So like he had competed like 16 weeks in a row.
Jeez.
Jesus. Oh my God. So like okay, so when you say people take it more seriously though, does that really mean like they're actually taking it more seriously, or they just like train with more competition in mind? Because like when you say train more seriously, like competing every week for 16 weeks is not actually training like an athlete at all. Like that's the exact opposite to that. Right? Like,
he's almost just doing it. He's like doing that for fun.
right. Yeah. He's just having.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
But like the guys at Vanguard are doing it more like.
It's like a game.
Yeah, it's like a little bit. Yeah, it's different. But no, he's just. But, dude, like, I mean, he's a blue belt, but he's just also like a super nice guy, and like. The amount that he competes in all the videos he puts out, like he's got invitations to go train from like Devontae Johnson, you know that guy,
Yeah.
Immunity,
Yeah.
like Big Dan from New Wave was like FaceTiming him,
That's cool.
being like, "Dude, you're my favorite grappler. I love watching you
awesome.
compete." Yeah, like
That's cool. That's
so-
pretty sweet.
yeah, it's pretty funny.
But when we were kids, like we would also compete every weekend. Like you
yeah.
can't say that that's not, being an athlete, right? Like
Seasonal though.
But yeah, it was seasonal,
Yeah.
correct. But like for swim season, every weekend you're at a meet. Like
Yeah.
for wrestling, every weekend you're at a meet.
Yeah.
Like so that is kind of what they're doing.
You'd
just
still
as
like,
an
but
adult.
you'd still like camp, like especially like when you're at like an adult level. Like a child can like recover so much quicker.
That's
than-
right. That's
and like
also
then
true.
like and like so like when you say like train seriously, right? Like you mean like as an athlete
Yeah.
and like want to be an actual like and then you don't have to be like an actual pro athlete, but like if you want to like get good and like get great results, generally speaking, like you'd want to prepare properly and like it takes time and then recover from that and all that sort of shit. And like competing 16 weeks in a row, like for sure would line you up for fucking injury or like something happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're just like you're rolling the dice a lot for the gain, which. It's pretty dope, and I'm off top over here. I forget his real name, but he's like he sounds like a hard motherfucker and
He's-
cool. Like
He's doing it for
the lols, for the good
clicks.
he's
times.
doing it for Instagram.
Yeah,
gotta
exactly. Which is cool.
But dude, I mean, like, it's taking him somewhere.
Yeah,
You
totally.
know, he's getting contacted by like some of the biggest names of the bigger guys in the sport.
Yeah.
And then, like,
But it's funny because like he literally just, I've joked about it with him. He just kind of competes against like, because he's like, he's kind of like fat.
Oh, okay.
but he just
Like
kind of
rock
competes
cans.
against like a bunch of like fat autistic guys. Who are just like, they're like Naruto. They're like doing fight to win, and they like Naruto run out on the stage.
Oh, I would love to see that.
There was one guy he fought.
Characters are wild.
There was one guy he fought who like he was warming up after the match. Like they had their match and off top beat the guy, and then we were like standing around. We were near the warm up mats, and the guy was warming up on the mats, and we were like,
Didn't you already finish?
yeah, he
Yeah.
had already finished, but he was just warming up.
getting ready for the second round.
Yeah, it kind of rules actually.
You guys have seen that guy? I'm a big fan of street beefs. You know,
Yeah.
right? There's that one kid called Death Sentence.
Yes.
Oh yeah, with the
with-
Mighty
with
Mouse.
Mighty
Yeah,
Mouse.
it is Mighty Mouse. Like that's been popping up for me a lot lately. Like that's a perfect example of like fucking. I back that kid so hard. I think he is a motherfucker. Like, but he's a great example of like all
Heart.
all heart, no other shit, and
Yeah.
also heaps of attention. Like he just like garners attention because he's so genuine and hilarious. Like
Yeah.
he's so fucking funny. And he's like, yeah, oh man, this 1-2 stuff. This is like so. Like I remember DJ's
hard
like
stuff
teaching like a
ever.
jab cross. He's like,
Yeah.
this is some hard shit. This is some crazy stuff. Yeah, left hook, just like Alex Pereira. That's me, baby. And I'm like, this kid is not fucking knocking anyone.
No idea.
No idea.
But that's like so many
Yeah, let me
jujitsu
show you the
people.
video.
Totally, that is jiu-jitsu. Oh, look at him.
Yo, you gotta send me that after.
Oh.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, just lifts him up.
yeah.
He's funny too.
My
He
neck
wrote.
was just watching that.
He wrote, "I do apologize. This was a very high calorie of me."
Yeah. But that's like, I think that's the way the sport's going to go, bro. You're just going to do heaps of fucking hilarious stuff, and then like that's how you're going to make it. You know, there's not. Yeah, you could win ADCC for sure, but then if I asked you guys, hey, tell me some of the top ADCC competitors of all time,
I couldn't tell you.
you couldn't tell me.
No.
Right? But like if you tell me, okay,
Dean could. Dean probably could.
I
I cannot.
Who won under 66 2017?
Oh,
2017. Wait. 2017 was 2017 was the first year Gordon Ryan won. Under 66, it was not Gary Tonin. That's all I know. Was it? Oh, that's a good question. Wait, no. So, I think Eddie Cummings competed that one. No, he did not. He competed 2015. That's a
See?
good question.
See what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
no one does.
No, no.
Dude,
Yeah.
wait, no. I think it was. That's a
If
good
I'm not
question.
mistaken, I could also have this wrong because I'm pretty sure I know. Because I had a buddy who had like
who was
competed
it?
against him, Pablo Pavlovich, or whatever his name was.
Pablo Pavlovich?
Yeah,
Under
Pablo.
66,
I'm going-
2017.
Yeah, certainly.
Check it out.
I'm sure. I'm gonna Google my own fact.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I
But
feel
yeah,
like if you
that's a
asked
good
me
example.
like any other post
2019
any other post 2015 year
So after
weight
Beijing.
class, I probably could have.
after the Beijing one, the Beijing.
No,
debacle.
2015 wasn't Beijing. That was
Beijing, no?
23rd.
This is the nerdiest conversation about jiu-jitsu I've ever had, and I'm loving it.
Yeah,
We
this
keep
like
going.
I was what 2015 must have
20
been Brazil then.
2015 was Brazil.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like puzzle mats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
Jeff Glover slamming.
I've actually seen that. Those.
Or sorry, Gio
Yeah.
slamming Jeff Glover.
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. And then 2017 was where? That was not. 2019 was definitely in Finland.
2017 was in America, I think.
Yeah, Vegas or something like that, maybe.
I think so, yeah.
And then it was in Finland, and then it was back in Vegas.
Yeah.
And it's when the new manager got over. Anyway,
Yeah.
2017, 80cc, under 66 kilo, under 60 kg.
But yeah, so to sum up, my point is, yeah, the training is more serious
Yeah.
there. So, like, people, they have more time to put into it.
So do you
Yeah.
think it's different there because there are more competitions, or do you think it's just culturally speaking, Americans are more into like combat sports?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just like we have a bigger sports culture in America.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, having the competition frequency is to meet the demands of the jiu-jitsu and
Okay,
vice
so
versa.
you think the sports culture comes first, and
Yeah,
that's
of
the chicken before the egg.
For sure, yeah. It's like supply and demand. I mean, jiu-jitsu, it like blew up after the pandemic because UFC was the only sport on TV.
Yeah.
And so everyone started training jiu-jitsu, and now it's just like huge.
Huge.
There's
It's the same
gyms
in
everywhere.
Australia?
Totally, yeah. I think so as well. It was Caribbean, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the sports culture allows that to like bubble up, and then like I was saying this to Dean the other night. It's like jiu-jitsu will always be like a subsection of that,
Yeah.
a subculture of that. So you're going to get some of the best. The more people you put into like general fitness participation, and the level of fitness you're going to get, the more better athletes you're going to come out of it, and more people are going to get better at it. And that's why I think like it's really hard to get a great scene built in China, because the people just don't have the time, and they didn't have the culture of like doing a bunch of sports and competing every weekend. You know,
I mean, basketball and like soccer are big here. Like
Yeah,
you'll
now.
still see them play basketball and soccer on like the public fields. It's
Yeah.
really hard to book,
Yeah.
soccer time at a lot of the places.
But like
now.
I feel like the barrier to entry is much lower.
For soccer and basketball.
Both of those. Like I
Yeah.
could go play basketball. Like I might suck, but I'm still out there doing basketball. But like if I had someone like, yeah, let's roll jiu-jitsu, like they're gonna hate it, and like because they're gonna like, you know what I mean, like they're gonna do so poorly.
You would do really poorly at like any.
But I can still run around.
Sure. You
Like-
can still participate.
Like yeah, you can still participate. Like if I
Gotcha.
told someone like, all right, dude, we're gonna roll. Like,
Yeah.
or like, all right, we're gonna start in half guard. They're gonna be like,
luck.
what are you talking about?
right. There's a bigger
They're gonna-
barrier to entry. I can see that.
Just gonna get
So, yeah.
smashed. Like it's not that bad for me if I'm running around the basketball court, not getting the ball passed to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Same thing with soccer. Like, I mean, those sports are obviously really difficult to get good at. Like,
Yeah.
I suck at them, but I mean, this is like why even Jawad would say this about like Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu. He'd be like, you can get pretty good at Muay Thai in like a few months.
Yeah.
He's like, Jiu-Jitsu in a few months, like you're still pretty terrible.
Right.
yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
time sink, you know.
Yeah, I think it's that, and then, but it's funny though. Like China has like, in like those sports as well though, has traditionally been super underrepresented, like a professional level in sports.
Yes.
And then like, but then in jiu-jitsu and like these other sports actually is like way overrepresented, because like if you look at like one championship, you look at like a lot of the guys coming to the UFC now. You look at like some of the best guys in the world in terms of MMA and kickboxing, and even jiu-jitsu. Like we've got like two like very world-class grapplers in the area, right? But we have a really bad sports culture, right? But like, how many people are in the NBA from China? I'm not sure the
I have no-
number.
I have no
I don't
idea.
think
Yeah.
there's a lot, right?
Like Yao Ming, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, and like even football, like no one really like thinks of the China team.
No, they're
And they're-
terrible.
yeah, they're really bad, right?
Yeah,
Like
they're
so-
notoriously bad.
yeah, exactly. So it's like I'm like, I think that's where the sports culture comes up, and then that's where niche sports can come, and like you can get pretty good at them pretty quickly, and that's where I think like China could do something there. There's like a potential for it, but like it's like at the end of the day, you really need to build the like. Look, there's this thing called FMS, like foundational movement skills in children,
Yeah.
right? Like you need to like build that first, and then everything else, people just get better off it, and then you get.
I agree with that.
And then you can actually have free. And then to Dean's point, you have more free time to do shit. If you're not working from like 8 a.m. till like 7 p.m. at night every day, you're just exhausted. You can't do
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu as well. So it's like makes it really hard to like build a good roster of people who are actually going to get really, really good.
I think my big issue is that most of them don't, or most of my Chinese friends don't start exercising until their 20s.
Right.
Like they
yeah.
really forget about, let's say, middle school, high school. They're all studying.
Right.
So they give up their gym time to be like copying homework or doing whatever.
Totally.
And then they start to get into sports around university.
Right.
Then it's really late. you've missed out on puberty. You've missed out on all of that time that we were just hanging out, like running around. They were not. And then they start a little bit late, but everyone else in the sports that they're doing is like really pushing them to get good fast.
Yeah.
And then they get injured. That's the path that I see for
They break, yeah.
almost all of my friends that do rock climbing. They're like, yeah, I can do that. They jump from this hold to that hold, fall, break their ankle.
Break an ankle.
And then they're just like, well, why did I break? Well, you don't even know how to fall. You don't even really know how to walk.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's not talk about
so true.
jumping. Let's talk about walking first.
so
And they
true.
just don't have that, what do you call it? The fund.
Like there's the skills, like the FMS, which is the skill
Yeah.
development part of it, like foundation movement skills. But then also they don't have like the frame and the body structure, like to actually like sustain shit like that as well. Like, like if you want to go rock climbing, you have to be pretty strong.
Yeah.
And like if you fall, you have to have some muscle to like hold all that stuff up. I just did like a week and a bit of like work experience with the physio, and like it's fascinating to see like the issues. So I got half the time I was spending with like professional athletes, and half the time I was spending
Normal
with like
people.
normies, and the normies like pretty much had the same like general population pretty much had the same like 3 problems that were coming in, and I was like, because one person rolled their ankle, did some dumb shit, doing something at one point, then 3 years later they just like sort of walked it off. So say they rolled an ankle and then it's like hurts a lot, and they walked it off and they sort of taught their body to walk in a new way, and then they got lower back pain. So now they come in for lower back pain, or they've got like a ruptured Achilles tendon, or they've got like they like they like I don't know fell over, and because they fell over onto their shoulder, they like lost a bit of range of motion, but because they never did range of motion up this way anyway, next thing you know, that pulled in their trap, and their trap gave them upper back pain, and it just all sort of like chained together because they never did the work. And if they were stronger in the first place, if they just had some sort of muscle mass on their shoulder before they did it, and they didn't like break their entire AC joint by just like slipping over in the bathroom or whatever, that would be in a much better position. So it's like 2 sides to it. It's like the FMS starts with the kids, like you got to make sure they can actually move through space and not like fuck it up. And then on the other side, like adults, they get into the gym too late and they don't have any like muscle mass or any mass on them, usually, or they have too much mass and no muscle, like super fat, and then they like fall over and they're skinny fat, and then they break some shit. I think that's like a huge part of it. So that's where the sports culture comes into it, man. You got to like start from the ground up and then go, okay, everyone sort of knows how to like do shit. We all know how to play games. And then you can like start going off into jiu-jitsu or Muay Thai or like rock climbing or whatever. And then you sort of...
I mean, when I did jiu-jitsu, I was just on the cusp because like I started jiu-jitsu when I was 21. So late. Like, pretty late. I didn't play any sports before. And then like I would just like lift in high school. Like that was it.
That's different. That's already ahead of a lot of
like a little bit, but not like that seriously. But no, I mean, you definitely see it in America too, especially like with, I mean, I think a lot of people, they also get wrapped up in work, or like a lot of people like they get into like video games, something like this, and we get people at the gym who come in like that. There was actually a guy who 2 guys I know. One guy, like you mentioned, like someone like they hurt their ankle and then they like their back had problems. There was one guy who I guess he hurt his Achilles or his knee before or something, and he came in and he did some jiu-jitsu classes and he was just going crazy, just crazy spaz. And dude, this guy, so this guy is spazzy, and then like he would take my beginner class at Vanguard, and one day we're like, I'm explaining like mount. I'm like, all right guys, we're gonna go from mount, positional sparring, try to submit, person on the bottom, you gotta escape. And then he just goes, okay, can we take the hand to the throat like this? He's like, is that okay? I was like, bro, like if anyone else asked a question, but like the spazziest guy in the room asked, can we like fucking choke people with our hands? Right? I was like, no,
you can't do that.
But he then later went on to spar, and he like hurt himself in sparring, and it was like, I mean, partly because he's been a spaz, but also because he had some like previous injury that then he then like hurt his knee that day, and then he like didn't come back.
back.
Yeah, but like you could tell he like wasn't super athletic. Same thing. There was one guy who came in who, kind of funny story. He was super nice, but like you could tell he like didn't work out at all. Like he was smoking. It kind of smelled like cigarettes. And like we were doing the warm up in the beginning of class, and we're jogging, and we're doing like the side step.
He's out of breath.
Dude, no, he falls. He falls. Like everyone's like doing side step, like shuffling, and he just falls
Just
down.
collapsed.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And then Jason was like, "Oh god, he's not gonna come back." after
Yeah,
this.
yeah, fuck.
But he did it. He had fun and like he did his thing. But it was funny. That guy came back like a few days later and like it was we have class from 6 to 7, and he showed up at 7, and he was like, he just talks to the desk guy. He's like, "Yeah, I'm here for the 6 p.m. class." And the desk guy's like,
It's over.
"Okay, well it's 7."
Yeah.
And he,
7:07.
and he's
mate.
like, and he like looks at the time and he goes like, "Oh fuck, shit, stupid." So funny. And then
I don't know if that's funny.
it was pretty funny.
I feel bad. Yeah,
We
he's
were
clearly
laughing
got
about
some-
But yeah, no, I think definitely if you don't with physicality, you don't use it, then you lose it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
And
and you can also build it back, right? Like you can build that stuff
you
up.
you can definitely do it. I mean, there's people who started jiu-jitsu later who like went on to, do well.
But how rare is that? Like, I don't know about combat
rare.
sports, but
Yeah.
like, I can spot a kid that swam when he was a kid, or an adult that swam when they were a kid, and then an adult that picked it up late. Like, you can just watch how they move in the water, and you're like, that guy picked it up really early, and that
Yeah.
person probably had good coaching, but they picked it up kind of late. Like, they just didn't put in the hours. You can tell like that.
It's the
Yeah.
same with everything though. Like,
It's a language.
I mean, if you don't, even with like, learning, studying, reading, if you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah, that's true.
All the guys I train with are retarded. So good at jiu-jitsu.
Truly,
but-
you are an average of the 5 people you hang out with the most, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. I'm becoming
He's-
dumber.
And then
being
like
like,
Steve's thinking in his head like, I'm not average, I'm above average.
oh, dude. No, I'm fully open. I've just been becoming like I have like room temperature IQ now. It's just going down.
It's
and
like
down.
lukewarm. Fucking
It's just getting lower and
Celsius.
lower.
it's just like a heater oven up there, just fucking hanging out. Jeez.
So
I feel like that's I actually think jiu-jitsu is becoming more and more of a degenerate culture, and I live for it because I think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's a new thing. I think it's come around. I think we got really cool in the middle, and then I reckon it was degenerates when
it peaked.
Yeah. I think like if you ask about like old stories from like old coaches, they've always got even crazier shit. Especially like if anyone like has a coach from the Brazilian era, meaning that you could only learn jiu-jitsu off a Brazilian. Like those guys always had crazy shit. To
Crazy.
talk about. Always
Crazy
crazy
stories,
shit.
yeah.
Right, and then it got like cleaned up. Like the sport became like this weird like AOJ was the cool thing. Everyone thought they were wearing like a nice gi and like cool clothes,
Yep.
and then it got very like prim and proper. And then DDS had something about Gordon and Cuck chair. Craig Jones made a joke about it and became this fucking autism is
Yeah,
now a
that's true.
thing.
Yeah.
And like it's like just become this like it's gone back to that like in some ways it is like I don't know if you guys watched it, but the Euro CGI trials thing.
Yeah.
It was like this like bunch of dudes just like stinking tequila and drinking beer and fucking and like honestly the cut
I
video
kinda like
afterwards. Yeah, the cut video afterwards, right? Looked sick.
Yeah.
But I watched whatever was going on at the time. It was the most boring shit I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, yeah?
It was like it was all hype machine. It was all marketing hype machine. No real stuff. The matches were terrible. Like not terrible, but like they were boring. There wasn't really much going on. But I think like that's where jiu-jitsu is going to head more and more into like this weird like bad boy culture thing, and it's like
level X black. We're in a level X black society right now.
that's
era.
true. Yeah, that's right. The era.
The president also dictates it's very level X black right now.
Mm.
Obama was very like show yo roll
Yes, that's true.
type of era.
Yeah.
No, Obama was like tatami,
Yeah, like Fuji.
Okay.
Fuji.
Yeah, you know what I mean, like a safe.
Trump's like level X black. Biden's like
Yeah.
a show yo roll maybe.
Oh,
like
I don't
that.
know
I don't know
about
about
that.
that.
Come on,
Yeah.
man. I like show roll. Like I think show roll. You ever get those dragon geese? Ever know what that? Anyone know
No.
that? This is before you
That
guys'
was
time.
I was not. Yeah.
Venom.
Venom's come back. It's
been-
cool
yeah.
now. Venom's cool again now. I'm
Well, like-
thinking the Hayabusa gi.
Oh, Hayabusa, yeah.
Yeah,
That's like an early Trump presidency
Yeah.
era. Well, I mean, also like I have a friend who has a gym in Washington or Vancouver, and he told me that like there's all these kids like who come in who are just like they're just like level X blacked out. They just want to compete for Instagram and stuff.
Yeah.
But honestly, like that's good promotion for your gym.
Totally.
You know,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
if you
totally.
get those kids out there like repping your gym. Like they want to compete, they want to do all that, they want to promote themselves. Like that's definitely.
I think in the American market it is.
Yeah,
I don't think
yeah.
here it is. Like here, like
No, here it doesn't matter.
yeah. As a person who owns just a kid's gym, trust me, I ain't gonna do
No,
nothing for
yeah.
you.
But in America, it's like what you
Yeah,
want.
totally. Yeah, totally. It definitely gets out on Instagram, makes it look cool. Parents see
Yep.
it, they're like, "Oh, my kid's a killer."
Yep.
Like, we did this thing where we had a kid's like I effectively like did like it's effectively a fight card where kids would come on to jiu-jitsu, but they would like I'd match them up with different kids in the gym. I'd do a storyline and we'd do a pre-fight interview.
I saw those.
Yeah,
Those are
yeah,
cute.
yeah. It
I
was
like
really
them.
cute, right? I was like, and then we did pre-fight interviews, and then we did like a post-fight interview, and then we even made a little documentary behind the scenes for the parents to watch, and like they'd share it out and stuff, and like I thought in my head that was going to be the jam, like parents going to share out the stuff, like they're going. It was like an emotional story about like little Isaac who's like 4, and he's like really afraid about going to do it, and his twin brother wants to go in and step in for him, and
His twin brother Isaac Michelle.
His two brothers actually name is Isaac, so that's pretty. No, it's Isaac and Erwin, right? Anyway, they were like gonna do it, and I was like, yeah, this is gonna be sick. And then, we had like I don't know 50 people come watch the whole event, which was nice.
Yeah.
And then like not a single person
Shared it.
came in. Oh no, the parents shared it.
Okay, good.
And then not a single person came in from that, or even mentioned the video ever
Really?
again.
So-
It's zero. And we had 16 kids, 16 different storylines. So like at least 16. We had
A lot of work.
yeah, we had tens and thousands, hundreds of thousands of views on this thing. Not a single person came in. No,
They do this. They've been doing this at Vanguard recently. There's a guy who does all the video work for them, the social media. He like has just been interviewing people who train at the gym.
Yeah.
He'll just be like, "Tell me like how long you've been training jiu-jitsu, how you got started."
Yeah.
And then it's like, "All right, tell me about your experience training here at Vanguard. Like, how is it?" And then they just like talk about it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, it's a really good. It's basically a testimonial, but like a little more like personal.
Yeah.
Right. And they do really well. Yeah, it's great for advertising, but it's kind of shocking that it, like you said, it doesn't really do anything here.
doesn't do anything here.
We did that at Absolute when Absolute first opened.
I think I remember, like the member of the
Dorothy
month,
did a bunch of those.
Right.
And it just didn't bring in any people.
Yeah.
Like, because you do it, and Arthur's, let's say, the highlight this week. And I share it to all my friends. But, like, I guess it's just not cool enough. And just people don't do it.
Yeah.
Like, people don't come in because of it.
Sorry, one thing I want to say about the kids, dude, people are so serious about kids.
Serious, yeah.
For jiu-jitsu in America, like
Totally.
they're like taking them all over for competing like all the time.
Yep.
Dude, they're there like with the water bottle, like so serious at training. Sure. And dude, there was one kid, I'll never forget this one kid. He comes in on a Saturday, we have kids class, and I think there was something happened that day, like the weather was super nice and not a lot of the kids showed up. But this guy comes with his kid and he's like, you know, we did IBJJF like last weekend. We're doing it next weekend in like Nevada, blah, blah, blah. And today, like our gym's closed and we were going to go to the, there's like a famous, I think like Russian or Eastern European guy who has a wrestling gym on Long Island. He's like, oh yeah, we're going to go to his gym today, but they're doing renovations. So like, we just need to get some training in today. Like he like wouldn't accept no training on that day.
Yeah.
Right.
And he brings this kid to our gym. This kid named Charlie, who's 9, and he's rolling with the other kids. There's only a few other kids, and he just
Steamrolls them.
just beasting them, bro. just beast it. He like, dude, I saw this kid go from single leg X guard, switches the leg over, sheer X guard, back take.
Yeah.
Like stuff that
Jeez.
most blue belts can't do.
Yeah.
Right.
And he even, we did takedown rounds, and he did a takedown round with this like 12 or 13-year-old kid and made him cry because he took him down so hard.
Wolf.
I'm into that.
Yeah.
I love that.
It was crazy, dude. Yeah, it's another level.
I think with kids it's so apparent too, because like the skill, like what's really good for a kid is like very different to like what's average for a kid. Like you get like, whereas like an adult, like you sort of like, I think it's like, I'm not sure if it's like a agreed thing, but like a unspoken agreement, or if it's and kids just don't have that yet, or if it's like genuinely an athletic difference. But like if kids who are better, like significantly better in jiu-jitsu, they just cream kids who are just like average, just like absolutely steamroll them. And I don't know if that's because kids don't really understand like
Social contract
stuff. I'm not really sure if that's a thing, or if it's like maybe the kids just suck at defense. Because like most times when I talk to coaches, if you ask a coach to randomly teach a class to a kid, they never teach defense. They like don't.
Oh, yeah.
They just don't notoriously don't do that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like most times at 10 unless it's written down on a piece of paper and they're told to teach defense, a coach will just teach them an offensive move, like an asotagari or like a single leg or a double leg, or whatever. And the kid, like nearly, that's why kids, when they get a really good offense, they just get absolutely steamroll some other dude. Well, you know, I can think of like a little girl now. She's 4. Her name's Abby. Comes every Saturday. She's got this asotagari that will honestly give like other children concussions. Like it's just like it's like so sick. And she like figured out how to drop as well. So it's not just like she knows how to do an asotagari with the right timing. If that one doesn't work, she'll do a foot sweep on the other side. And then as they step out of the foot sweep, she'll like do a drop asoto. So like fall to her knee and like slide them down. And it's like, oh, that is just beautiful.
Yeah.
When she does it, you can tell the other kids, because again, I don't really teach asotagari defense for a 4-year-old, you know, because they're 4, right? These other kids just get creamed, just like Ippon, like your life is over. This kid's like, what? Like this, like, it's unreal. And like I think that's a kid's thing. Is like you just see there's a huge gap.
That makes sense.
Things.
Yeah.
Massive, man.
Yeah.
I'll quickly run to the bathroom if you don't mind. Yeah.
But I think as an adult, like, we have that social contract where we're just like, I'm not going to cream my friend too much. Right? Like, I don't know if you guys have that at Monarch or you guys have that at Jason's.
I mean, you mean like how do you mean?
You're
like
significantly better than me and you're rolling with me.
Uh-huh.
You're not going to be like, oh, I'm just going to submit him every 30 seconds.
Depends. I don't know. It depends. But yeah, I kind of know what you mean. Yeah, you're being nice because they're your friend.
Yeah.
And then like.
And there's no reason to do that to someone. Like, I don't think kids have that limiter, right?
Yeah, probably not. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So
yeah,
just as an adult, like, you'll be like, well, then let me work on this other piece of my game, right?
Yeah.
Like, I was rolling with Bruce at Refuge, and he was like, well, I'm just gonna work on, you know, trying to get out of whatever leg entanglement you give me, as opposed to work on what I'm good at, which is like smash pass.
Sure.
Right? He's just like, well, I know I can smash pass. I'm just gonna work on getting out of your single leg X or whatever. And adults tend to be more nice to each other.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think we're like organizing our training a bit, you know, whereas kids are just thinking about
Having
like
fun.
winning or having fun. Yeah. So it's a little different, I would say. That's definitely true. Yeah.
You think it's because here, it's interesting you say that. You think that it's because they started so late that their sports mentality maturity is the same as kids here.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
So they are less mature from a sports mentality situation. That's why here winning is so important. Is that possible?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think that it's yeah, I mean, you put your points into different things, you know, and I think that yeah, when you learn, I mean, dude, I guess I can speak from experience because like when I first started training, I like really didn't understand like how training is supposed to work because I didn't play any sports before.
Yeah.
So like there were times where like I would like not do well in training. I just be like, what the like, why am I a piece of shit?
Yeah.
You know, like I mean, I still have like those days. I think most jiu-jitsu guys like think that way.
Yeah.
About themselves, but
Yeah, 100%.
like it was definitely like really hard in the beginning because I didn't understand like, okay, like you have to train a lot to be able to like, you know, do well, and like what does it mean to like lose?
Yeah.
And like all this stuff. So yeah, I think if I had done that when I was a kid and understood that better, it definitely, you know, it would have helped. So
it's funny, like it's obviously a small subject, but like we have heaps of kids who've grown up and now like they're like adults now. It's crazy, and like you know, it's funny. You would think that jiu-jitsu works the same. It's very easy to think jiu-jitsu or any martial arts or any sports like works the same across everyone, but that's actually not the case. Like some kids do much better at taking lessons on than others, and some kids take the lessons way too seriously.
Sure.
And
yeah.
And like, you know, I know for a fact that I've got a bunch of kids who now have like almost, because at first they would like, you know, get really upset when they lose. So I would expose them to more loss.
Yeah.
I go, okay, now it's time to like take on harder challenges. You need to lose technically speaking, not just like
Yeah,
get
there's-
overpowered by someone. And then like what happens is it goes the other way around. They learn to lose a lot, and they get so comfortable understanding that the loss is not the end of the world that they just take everything as a loss.
Yeah.
Right. And we have this one kid now I can think of, and he's like coming into being like a young adult, and like he like now notoriously like he's good at jiu-jitsu. You can ask him to do any technique. He knows how to do them all, but just does so poorly at sparring, and then does so poorly at like competing now in anything because he hasn't quite learned the idea of how to turn it on now. Like, he had to learn how to lose, and now he's not really got a point. There's no like thing that teaches him how to turn it back
But
on.
how often did he win?
Nowadays, well, before he was winning fairly often, like because he was doing well, but anytime he would lose, because he would like put all of his effort and power, especially at the beginning stages where effort and power mean a lot, especially for when he started. Geez, this is like 7 or 8 years ago. He started when he was 7 or 8. So he would like literally lose. He would win matches straight away because he would just get a hold of a kid and like shake him and go, bah! And then the other kid would freak out and go, bah! And then he would like sit on top of the mountain, and then they'll be, okay, cool, that's all over, mate. Right? And he would do a lot of that. And then anytime he'd lose against a kid who was much better than him, he would like freak out, cry, scream, throw things at the wall. And then that kid now, like, he just doesn't really take stuff super seriously now because he's gone used to the loss and understands that winning and losing is for everything. But then now when you apply it to real life, actually now he needs to learn how to pick it back up.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to do now with him. He's like, we're trying to teach him that, hey man, it's time to go out and win. It's time to go out and like take what's yours.
Yeah,
So the lessons don't get applied evenly.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily as
Dude,
easy.
understanding winning and losing is like so important because like if you can't understand that, I mean, I know it's like been said so many times, but like you really can't get better if you can't understand how that process works and how to like, once you lose or once you win, you like evaluate whatever it was that happened that led to the win or the loss. And if you can't evaluate that, you can't analyze it, like it's going to be really tough.
That's part of your coaching job, right? Like as your either corner person or your coach, you have to be like, well, this is what you did right. This is where we can improve for the next one, right?
Does Jason talk about that?
Yeah.
Does Jason ask that sort of stuff or not really?
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like he approaches it from like a very just like he doesn't like harp on people like losing and winning that much. Like, I think like there's some coaches who like if you lose, like they'll like call you like a piece of shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, like he'll definitely like as soon as you have a competition, he'll be like, oh, like send me the footage. Like he always wants to see it. And like he does that a lot for himself too. Like takes videos and like analyzes it.
Yeah.
So I think like he's somebody who's really him. I think that's like a thing also from like the new wave guys or from the Danaher guys. Like as soon as they get some learning material, like whether it's a loss or win, they like want to go over it like right away.
Yeah.
They don't stick
Lots
around.
fresh.
Yeah, they're not like, oh fuck, I lost. Like they're not thinking about it like that. They're trying to solve the problem like immediately, which I think is pretty cool.
Like a really quick feedback loop sort of thing.
Yeah. It's like the sooner you solve the problem, the sooner you're not going to make that mistake again.
Yeah.
And then sort of tying back in the other conversation, are then nowadays, are they doing like games and that, or are they going to do direct instruction? Like,
yeah, I mean, like like Jason, because do you guys remember there was this debate? Like Greg Sodders has done all these debates.
Yeah, he was on a couple.
He did
speaking
one
of autism and jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
like far on the side.
There's
Like, go on, bro.
there was one that was like Greg Sodders in a debate versus Big Dan from New Wave,
I saw
and
that
then
one.
Tom DeBlas was supposed to be the like
Moderator.
but he wasn't really moderating.
No.
And then so I guess like after that, everyone kind of thought that like in that debate, like Greg didn't look so. I guess in the talks before that, people thought he looked like kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But I guess after that debate, like it kind of made him look good in a sense. So I don't know how, but yeah, like Jason ended up contacting him and talking to him, and he recommended these books by this guy Rob Gray, who's like this sports scientist. And there's like 3 of them. There's like one that's like How We Learn to Move, which I started reading a little bit. And then there's like How to Be an Ecological Coach. And there's one more I can't remember. But yeah, he recommended these books to him. And like Jason talked to him about how he runs class and all this stuff. And then he was like started to play around with it in the private lessons that he teaches. And then eventually some of my training partners from back home, like Dylan and Diego and these other guys, they went up to Maryland to train at Greg Sauter's gym.
Nice.
And they like took the classes. It was like all eco, and they were like blown away. They thought the games were like really cool and fun, and then they also thought everyone there was like really good. I mean, I think that the way they were blown away by it, like, I definitely believe them, but at the same time, like, they were like, oh, we were getting like bodied by all these guys at the gym. But I think part of that too is like, you show up to a new gym, like,
Yeah.
you know, like, people are going to be going way harder with you than your own teammates usually do. Especially because everyone, you know, they keep track in their head, like, oh, maybe I'm not going to beat Dean today. I'm just going to give it what I have. Or they'll be like, oh, like, when me and Dean roll, we have like 50-50, you know, we have like equal roles, you know. So like, I know the limits. But like, when you go to a new gym,
There's nothing. It's
people are like, oh, you're in my gym, I'm just going to go for it, you know. So I think maybe that's a little bit to do with it. But either way, they were speaking really fondly of how the classes were running, all this stuff. And so then they came back, and we started doing those games and eco stuff with in the group classes. And so a lot of it was like, we start usually with like 2 or 3 wrestling games, and then we do some like pinning or like leg lock games, and then if there's time at the end of class, there's like a regular round. I think there should be more regular rounds, but yeah, so it's been pretty interesting. Me and Justin played a few of the games on Monday and Wednesday.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about those?
Yeah, I think like I think they work like for someone who's like when we're at our level. I think they work great in terms of developing skill, like getting much better at those things. It helps you find new pathways and think about how you're going to put things together. And I think like scaling the scaling law is like really important, right? Like I think that they'll, like, for me and for you, I think they're fantastic. I think when you have someone who's brand new, I'm still not convinced that that's a way to teach someone. Yeah, no.
So like, this is the thing. So everyone will say everyone will say 2 things that kind of contradict each other. People will say what you just said, it's better for advanced people, and then people will also say, oh, I think it's better for beginners but not advanced people. Yeah. So it's like, and I've spent so much time talking about this with people from Vanguard and from other gyms. Think? I mean, like, I think that there's a place for it in both. Yeah. I think that for beginners, I taught at Bushido last night. We did a beginner wrestling game, which is you're both standing, there's no takedowns, and you're both either looking for an underhook to get behind the person chest to back with locked hands, or to get a front headlock. Sure. So instead of me teaching you like, I mean, we're working with limited time because we're doing wrestling and jiu-jitsu in a class. So like, instead of me teaching you like whatever setup to a takedown, we're just getting right into making contact and doing these things.
Sure. Okay with that.
Stuff like that, or stuff like, there's a beginner guard drill I do, which is one person's laying down. You're always supposed to keep your feet on the other person, anywhere on their body. Person on the top, you're not supposed to let their feet touch your body. If they do, then you're losing. It's a continuous drill. But if the person on the bottom can get 2 butterfly hooks in, they can grab the ankles. They can do a butterfly sweep. Yeah. Which, again, like, I could just be teaching them guard retention movements, or like, you know, guard passing movements, or I just have them do this drill, which then, like, you know, gets them to do some live work, but there's like less pressure about like a guard pass, or less pressure about like getting stuck in a guard. Right. It's mostly just making the top person focus on movement and not staying in front of the partner, making the bottom person think about keeping their feet on the opponent and keeping their opponent in front of them. So like, I think that these things definitely are good for beginners, but I think that at the same time, where it gets lost on me is like, they don't want to use like any terminology. Yeah. So they're like Greg will say, like, have you heard this? He says, like, there is no double leg.
Yeah. I've seen it.
Yeah. So like, he'll say like, there's no double leg because every takedown involves taking both the feet off, both the legs off the mat. So like, stuff like this, or like, they don't call reverse de la hiva, they call it like inside knee behind knee or
Yeah.
something like this.
Yeah.
There's all this stuff where it's like, all right, you're supposed to use like different language and like all this stuff, which I just kind of think is it's
too much.
yeah, I almost feel like it's like a theory at this point.
Yeah.
Right.
And
that has been my analysis of this as well, because I've done a
Yeah.
lot of reading on this. I'm currently doing a master's in sports science, and I'm pretty into this. There's like a little bit of like, there is like the sports science stuff is pretty clear that skill, like ecological approach, particularly when it comes to ball sports like soccer and basketball and stuff, does give a determined edge on people who are already trained going forward, right? The big study that's like the one that's like the basis to many of what these books are written on is on this. This is one soccer study between like 2 sets of 12 kids. So 12-year-old kids who are 12 roundabout, right? There's 12 kids on each team. And they one group does a control of a like traditional like led class, like, you know, as you would imagine a soccer class to go. You get in, if you do a few drills, you run around, you do direct instruction for like the drills and stuff, and then you go off and do the thing. And then there was an eco group, and the eco group like tested significantly better, much better than the other, right? Which, so I think like for sure the difference is, right, and again, this is why I said like I think it's awesome at a certain point and a great tool, right? Because if you had no idea how to run, you can't ecologically tell someone to run, especially when you have physical constraints. So when you have people who have no foot. I know that's really strange, it sounds a bit of a joke, but it's true, right? Like you can't play an ecological game to someone who has like a physical disability or has like a, you know, and now if we extend that out to biases that the person may have as well in them, or like a mental, cognition difference, cognitive differences between people, and then we also like, or we don't understand the reason the person's there. Like if you just did eco games for a beginner's class, for introductory class, right? The person probably wouldn't understand why this actually matters to me, right? Because the reason being is that what if that person came into like, okay, I'm here to lose weight and make a few friends, right? By like focusing solely on the skill acquisition, you actually limit the time for the other benefits of a class.
I see.
You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's where I think there's like a difference between like how you treat like a Gen Pop first dayer and how you pick someone who has a little bit of skill. Now, to say an introductory class is only 5, 6, 12 classes, and then you go into the quote unquote fundamentals class, and now you're doing just eco, I think you could totally figure that out. But if you had no idea of like what jiu-jitsu was, actually knowing that like mount, side control, back control, guard are all positions that you should know and what the names are, and it's like direct instruction that these exist, right? Actually clarifies the game for the person. Knows, maybe they don't know how to get from A to B, but they know that those are things that exist, like chess pieces on the board. Because like the thing is, like, I use the chess example quite a bit. There's lots of eco stuff you can do with chess. They're called like patterns, and like you could play that quite a lot. You could do lots of different games and mix it up quite a bit. But if you need the direct instruction of knowing how the pieces move at the beginning.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's so the problem here is that I'm listening to what you're saying, and I do agree with some of it. Unfortunately, I've heard people make the argument that you just made, and then have people counter it.
Right.
So like the counter is that, well, so there's two things. One thing is that when we're talking about like teaching, think about how we teach people, like you said, like with like a mental handicap. Let's think about how we teach even like animals, how we train animals. Like we don't give them instruction because they can't speak English. Like think about how you train a horse.
Yeah.
You essentially train a horse ecologically because he can't understand anything you're saying.
Correct.
Like you have to like give him stuff to do, like tasks or whatever.
And then reward them at the end.
And then reward them, right? So I guess in the ecological like idea is like, okay, the reward is winning the game. So that's one thing. And then the other thing too that I think is interesting as in this theory is that essentially if you had somebody and you only ever had them do live work. So imagine if like you got somebody to train jiu-jitsu and they had never drilled anything. They had only ever done live work. When you go to train, you're not even really thinking about that much stuff. You're just moving.
Yeah.
Because you've only ever been like, all right, when I'm making contact with a person, we're grappling. You're not like, you've never been like, oh, when I make contact with a person, they're like laying down and they've like, you know, they're not moving. And so I do think that that's kind of interesting to imagine a world
I'm sorry,
where
I don't understand that point. Does that
So-
mean like you're constantly working with a resisting partner? And
Yeah.
You feel more comfortable with that.
Yeah, which I think
Okay,
is
that makes
interesting.
sense,
I'm not saying that I think that should be that way, but I do think it is interesting, like the idea of somebody never having no resistance from their partner.
Yeah.
Like they're definitely gonna be
That's true.
when they start grappling, like it's gonna be fucking
Totally
going on.
different.
Yeah.
So fair.
I
That's
think,
so fair.
and actually, because you wrestled, like I think a lot of wrestlers, they're not like they drill statically, but I've drilled with like a lot of wrestlers in jiu-jitsu before. They're usually giving some resistance. Like they're moving a bit,
Yeah.
they're keeping their body tense, and they do things like hard.
Yeah, totally.
You
Yeah,
know,
totally.
so I think that that's this one thing that in jiu-jitsu people mess up with is that their partner is just like a limp noodle
Yeah.
and being
totally.
completely,
They're not getting any feedback.
yeah, I think that's one thing. So essentially what I would say is that, I mean, I'm still like trying to figure it out because, for example, for myself, I've been like really fucking terrible at wrestling. I have like no wrestling. And we started doing these wrestling games and it's definitely worked in my favor. Like I've gotten like at least a better base for moving. And so like, do I want to say, oh, it's because like I learned things ecologically that now I'm better at wrestling? It's like, well, I just kind of spent more time in the positions moving. You know, like, yeah, if you wrestle more, your wrestling's going to get better. It's just,
Time on mat.
it's just, yeah, time on the mat.
Yeah,
Exactly.
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's something to that as well, and I totally think like there is definitely a place for it, and I definitely think it helps with skill development. The point still stands though. Like if you have someone who comes in on the first day and you clarify what, like it could be as into as an intellectual discussion, right? Like so you can understand like what a win would like. Like, you know, so because what generally happens when we run a class is that we teach someone and maybe we set the focus or the goal as a specific thing, but the person doesn't know why the goal is related to the bigger picture. Right.
You have to
And
give context.
Yeah,
Yeah.
context to that. And I think that's a lost skill for many coaches, right? Like, you know, how many instructors do we know? You come in, they teach like 3 moves, then you go off and roll.
Yep.
Right? Like, and there's like
lot.
no focus. A lot, right?
Yeah.
And that, like, I'm not saying that's either us or, you know, it's a lot of people, right? There are shitloads of people who do that. But, you know, I think giving context is very, very important, in particular in the first, like, 6 classes.
Sure.
Right. And I think that's where there's the only part where I think if you just jump into an eco class and you think about the actual logistics of how most studios operate, where they don't have a dedicated fundamentals program per se, maybe they have a beginner's class. And then like anyone comes in, the coach check it out, and usually the coach teaches something that they think is beginner, right? That doesn't really address the context to like what that person wanted to get out of it, and then does the coach understand that? And that's where I think eco doesn't quite fit in. But that also could come back to, does your customer service people or your coach really spend the time to actually learn about the person who's come in?
Yeah,
Which most people don't.
the first jiu-jitsu gym I went to, there was no context for anything, and I'd like, he'd teach something, I'd just be like,
I don't get it.
okay, we're doing the move,
Yeah.
but like I don't know when the fuck I would ever use this.
Exactly.
And there was no explanation of different positions. Like, you know, I'd be like trying to darce people from half guard, but it was like he never explained like, no, like half guard is a passing position. You know, knee cut is a passing position. You know, I just thought as long as I could grab the guy's head, I can darce him. You know, from like side control.
Yeah.
For some
So-
people, that might work though, right? Like if your arms are long enough, maybe that person is like, as long as I can get ahead, I can darce him.
Yeah, but my coach wasn't that guy, and I wasn't that guy either. It's just like he just did a bad job of conveying information.
I get it.
Or conveying context. I would say where the eco thing, I mean, you can give context whether it's drilling or doing eco, but one thing I would say is like, okay, like for example, we did a drill yesterday in the Bushido class, which was like one person is in bottom side control and they're on their side and their elbows are to their ribs. Other person's on top, kind of like one arm like around the back, one arm under the shoulder, and the person on top, your goal is to just get an underhook, and so get underneath one elbow and lock your hands. So that could look like a full underhook. That could look like maybe they have a frame, but your shoulder elbow is underneath their elbow, and your hands are locked. That could be like a seatbelt. And basically, it's just, what I explained was like, yeah, we might be on top of our opponent and we're past the legs, but we haven't pinned them yet. So like we want to get a solid pin, and then that counts as a win. Like so, like when you're rolling, you should always be thinking about pinning your opponent. Yeah. So I gave the context for it, but if I was just like, all right, guys, we're here. They got this. You don't have this. You got to get this, and that's how you win the game. Like,
right?
Yeah, you could do that, but it'd be like, yeah, like you said, like there's no context to it. Doesn't really explain anything. But I think for you and me, we understand that.
Yeah.
And Arthur as well, because we've all been training for a while. But for a beginner, that's
does
like.
He? But does he? Does he really? I've taught Arthur quite a lot.
Oh, I hope so.
I'm not really sure.
So, who would win in a jiu-jitsu match, him or this kid Simon you're talking about?
Like, I wouldn't want to like offend him on his own podcast. So
But seriously, for a beginner, explaining to them like how a pin works, because we just go there like, oh, side control. We're like, oh yeah, we're in side control. You can submit or go to mount from here. But like taking the time to explain to a beginner, and taking the time to explain why that counts as a win. Even, and something Greg said I think like is pretty smart actually, is he said like, dude, when you're teaching a beginner, even think about teaching them how to grab a wrist. Like most people aren't grabbing people. Like think about how to actually make a connection to the wrist. Like that's a good place to start, rather than teaching them even like an elbow escape is kind of fucking advanced. You know what I mean?
Totally agree.
So,
I think I actually think the Gracies did it, and in particular the Torrance guys like Henna and Heron do a very good job at this. Obviously they're not like eco guys, they're not really in that race at all at this and this type of thing, but they do a very good job at like building a storyline behind their classes. Right, like the 36 fundamentals classes that you have to do with them. Like there's a storyline attached to each of them, and I actually really love that. I think that's a great way to like engage someone who's relatively new, teach them the basics of an art that you think should be done in a certain way, right? And I think that having those sort of set storylines almost allows a person to understand the context from A to B and gives a more full-bodied idea of what jiu-jitsu is to a particular beginner. So like maybe my gripe isn't really with Ecological at all. It's really like giving context and building better class plans, Yeah. And I just think I don't even really have a gripe. I think people should do it, and should do it as soon as possible. But there is just that little bitty bit at the beginning, and I think if you ask me, that would be like 5 classes of like literally actually like, hey guys, this is mount, and this is why mount is a thing here, because like when you sit on top of someone's chest, you could punch them in the face, or you could get points in the sport, or you could or you could hold your drunk uncle down at Christmas because he's like fucking
got gravity on your side,
exactly, like this is why this exists, like this is why it's now become a commonly occurring theme, and like that could be 6 classes, that could be 36 classes, whatever you want to break it up as. But then like after that point, then you're welcome to go eco. Right, go eco you like, and then realize the pieces between that.
So couldn't you explain that and then do like play like a game based off of
it? Of course, yeah, exactly. You could totally do that. Like you could totally play a game off that, and so but then you still need a direct instruction of the position, right? Of like why this looks different to that.
Yeah, you need that. Yeah,
and that's where I think that would be would be very helpful for a lot of people. Like at the beginning, obviously I work with just white belts and kids, so and trust me, if I say to a kid, get an underhook, they could not give a fuck. They have no idea. Like okay, 2 hands underneath the person's stomach. They'll literally just run away from each other. Because like there's like this again, so you're losing the social contract, right? Or if you put your hands together, they get your hands together on a leg, right? Yeah. And they might have even practiced the single leg before, right? That would be the scaling of that is like far too much, right?
Yeah, you have to. So this is the thing like a lot of people, I think like some people here have been asking me about the eco stuff. Not you, but like other people. And the thing that a lot of people don't understand is that the game design is actually pretty difficult, because you can make a really bad game that sucks and doesn't actually accomplish anything. Yeah. So like for example, let's say you were like, we're practicing ankle locks, and it's like, okay, you need to get the other person's ankle in your armpit, right? Okay, well, that could mean that you're in bottom mount and you have the person's ankle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So you have to like be explicit, because so that problem is called gaming the game. So for the example you just said, like getting an underhook, right? Or like, even if this is like, again, for beginners, I think this is good. You can scale it eventually, and you can start using terms more like later, but we say underhook to somebody, they don't know what the fuck that means.
Yeah.
So that's why like we say like getting under an elbow, right? Or I guess standing would be more like getting under a shoulder. But I still say underhook, whatever. But yeah, either way, if we say, okay, both your goals is to get an underhook, and then the kids run away, okay, well, you're gaming the game. So you need to give them more other instructions. So you have to be like, all right, you need to grab something. You need to grab their wrist, their collar, their like a neck, their elbow. You need to grab something and then get an underhook. So that teaches them, oh, well, like I can't get an underhook if I don't make contact first. Same thing with, I'll do that game with the kids all the time, where it's like, all right, I want you to lift a leg, so get a single lift a leg, but you need to grab them somewhere first. Doesn't matter where you grab, but you got to touch them first.
Yeah, yeah.
So like, yeah, that's there's a way to do it for sure. And I'm not trying to like say that I'm totally eco-pilled, but I do think that
Sounds like it though.
it does sound like it. Yeah. Well, mostly because like I've heard so much of both sides.
Right.
I think where it gets really hairy is when you start to get like an intermediate group of people who have kind of exasperated the like things that they're able to do, and you need to give them new information, because there's things that like I could never imagine or figure out by myself that like, you know, Jason can help me solve, like problems that I have.
Exactly. Yes.
So I think that that's one issue, is that like at a certain point I'm just going to need more information. The other thing where it gets hairy is with group classes, because if you have a group of fucking 30 people and they're all different levels, like you can't do games that are going to meet everyone's needs. Because for some people, those games are going to be a waste of time. Now, the games, importantly, it's like you got to have people matched up with similar skills levels. So, for example, if I do that game that I was just saying with the side control with the elbows in, if I do that with a white belt, like it's going to be retarded. I have to do it with somebody like around my skill level for either of us to get anything out of it.
Yeah.
Because the goal is to like win the game. So for example, like at standard, Greg won't have DeAndre partner up with anyone who's not like a more like serious training partner. Because if he has like a beginner come in and they're playing games and he plays with DeAndre, he's just gonna lose over and over again. He's be like, "What the fuck? This
Why am I here?"
sucks." Yeah, exactly.
And then sucks to the DeAndre too, because he's got
Not
mastered
getting
that
it
skill.
done.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I think that it's definitely interesting. I think that, like I said, when you get to the group class, it's difficult because you have to, like, it's not a one size fits all thing. I mean, you could make the same argument for drilling though, right? Let's say we're drilling half guard, bottom half guard underhook. Okay, well maybe there's half the class that doesn't need to work on that, or half the class that like that's not a good move for them, you know. Now the thing is that when you give people open rounds, you're assuming that they will organize their own training.
Yeah.
I know that I do that.
Not
like when
everyone
I'm,
does that.
but not everyone
people
does.
don't.
Right. So when you have your open rounds, it's like I know I'm like, okay, I'm working on this today, but not everybody can do that. So I think that at the beginner level, you can have them like do a lot of these games, or you can have them drill whatever. But when you get to intermediate and you need to give people like more information and raise their level, I think that's where it gets complicated and hairy. Also, I think that in private lessons, so like Jason, he's got this kid named Josh Flores, he's like amazing. He's I think he just turned 18. He's done like over 1,000 privates with Jason.
Jeez.
Wow.
So imagine how much he's drilled. He's drilled pretty much everything there is to drill.
Sure.
So they only do eco privates now because he's basically just watching him in these really specific positions, looking at his transitions and all this stuff, and then like trying to fix things from there.
Yeah, develop the skills of those things.
Yeah.
within
So,
those positions.
so like I can't tell you how many times I've drilled things from Jason's like guard passing videos or stuff that he taught me.
Yeah.
My outside passing is still like kind of lacking. And then I did a private with him like the day before I left to come here. And we only did live work where we did some of those drills together, like the knee cut one, the Toriano one. And I felt like, oh, this is so helpful because he's seeing what I'm doing wrong in the live scenario.
Yeah.
Like, because you can watch me drill it like 10 times. He's like, oh, yeah, it looks good. But then when I go to do live, I fuck it up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So you can be like, oh, he can like see like, oh, like your weight here. Like, oh, you got to use your hand here a little bit more. So that's where I think in private lessons, it's really, really useful. But in the group session, I think it's difficult.
Mm-hmm.
So at standard, sorry, I'm kind of going on right. At standard, Greg only teaches to what DeAndre needs. And that's all he cares about. He's not even concerned about making money. He's just concerned about his top athlete, which is totally fine, you know. But if you're looking to run a gym and you're looking to get more people in the door and stuff and have everyone get a good experience, then it's
Shaky.
yeah.
Yeah, you know, I think that would be the hard part. I think I've found, well, I've been messing around with it a lot, and I think what we're going to see is like as we go forward is that there are going to be a lot of coaches who like watch 3 Instagram videos and then think they're doing CLA, and then it's going to be garbage, right? That's what I think is what's going to end up happening.
Yeah.
Right?
100%,
And then
yeah.
and like myself included, I've been doing way more of these drills. I've been doing way more of it, right? And I found out via Instagram videos, right? And so I've been trying to figure out. And I think what ends up happening is that, you know, if you don't really have the underlying skill to understand what is important in positions, that will be a massive like shift. Because I'm trying to figure this out in the gi right now. So like I've got a lot of guys who are coming into private lessons with me, and I'm trying to figure out, because not everything is the same in the gi and no gi when these positions and these games have changed quite substantially, right? And I find that like, and on a Thursday night, I do effectively an entirely CLA class. Like that's my whole, and we do it in the gi, right? And so I try to do Tuesday direct instruction, Thursday constrained side approach or like some sort of eco-ish like themed class, and then on the Saturday we have open mat. So I think it's a great way to sort of get the balance across these things. And notoriously, everyone loves Thursday more. Thursday is by far the more fun experience. And then I had some of my other coaches who work at the gym. They were like, I want to try and do this thing. I said, well, game design is really hard. I'm not even fully 100% across it. But I'm thinking that these are the ways you'd win. You got to really deconstruct what is like actually winning within a certain like, sub position of jiu-jitsu, right? And like I'll be honest, and I won't call their names out because then they'll feel like they called out. But they like totally fucked it up. Like they just like, because what they had thought made like, for example, like a knee cut work was not really what made knee cuts work, right? Because they had learned in direct instruction previously from some guy or girl, and was like, hey, this is how I do it, and trust me, pulling the sleeve as hard as physically possible inside a knee cut is what makes the knee cut work, right? And like that's a really good example. So the game they played was like, okay guys, we're going to start in this knee cut position. Person underneath is going to try and like reframe and get to it, like get their legs in front of them again, so effectively retain guard, right? And your goal is to hold onto the sleeve and hold onto a collar and just like pin them there, right? And like that's not actually what makes a knee cut work in the gi, right? It's actually like sleeve control and a collar grip, and like sort of like being really good at a push-pull mechanic here is not necessarily what makes knee cuts work in the gi.
So part of this is a technique problem too.
Technical issue as well, right?
Well, like it's funny because the first time we did eco at Vanguard, my friend Dylan, he like designed all these games. We went in on Sunday and we did it, and I fucking hated it. I was like, I don't know about all this, man. And then like a week later, he like messaged our group chat. He's like, I think I was designing these games wrong.
Right.
And then like he went to standard and he came back and we did some way better games. I was like, that was awesome. And I'm not gonna drop any names, but like there was one day I was taking a class at Ocean like last year, and then taking someone else's class, and they were like, all right, you're gonna be playing seated guard. This is before the eco thing, kind of, but like Ryan Hall's kind of been on this like thing for a while, like the fuck your jiu-jitsu, right? Yeah. And it was like, all right, you're in seated guard. You can't go if you go supine, you lose, and you can only wrestle up. And I was just like, okay, well, actually there's a lot of wrestle ups that can happen from supine, and you can't just like it's gonna be hard to wrestle up unless the person's walking backwards if you're not using your guard at all. Like a lot of it's like you pull, they pull back, and then you wrestle up. So that's like a shitty game. You know, like you can design a bad game pretty easily. So it's difficult. And then so
it's hard to understand the mechanics.
Yeah, dude. But I think I like what you said. Like you have a more instruction based class, an eco class, and an open mat. Because I think you need balance. Because like I don't really want to do an eco class every single day. You know, me personally, I also think a little bit of the eco wave is people just like not having the patience for drilling
and being a little bit lazy.
Yeah. And the other thing too that I find is that I don't know, man. It's just sometimes I just like drilling. I just like learning new shit. You know, I think that's fun. So
I don't think there's like people do martial arts for very different reasons, and like some people and like a lot of people who generally get a little bit older and have been doing it for a long time actually just really like geeking out about like certain stuff. And like working really hard the whole time. I really like that, and like you can still learn stuff from there. And like there's stuff that I know that I never hit in rolling, right? And that's not to say like, and particularly I'll be very honest. Like I've watched and learned a lot of stuff and sort of understand and can deconstruct and see leg locks. I don't do a lot of them because I had 3 knee surgeries, and like if I do another knee surgery, they're gonna cut my legs off at some point. You know, they're gonna be like, hey, bro, what are you doing at the moment? We're just gonna get rid of them. So for me to do that, if I get caught in a position and something goes quick, and that's why I found that previously I've done silly things, and that's another sort of like, I guess a little bit of a thing you could say about eco too, is that it doesn't take into account as much of the injury risk, because with live work there is a higher risk of these things, and it also doesn't allow for like guys who, and like let's be real, like you know there are a lot of people who like to just like talk the shit and like learn about the stuff. Like that was cool and interesting, but like for example like me, like I will never put myself in a Z-lock position. Like I'm not gonna get Z-locked, right? I'm just not going to do that because the risk to reward for me is just like not high. But if your goal is to compete and go really, really high in the sport, then it's the right thing to do for sure. But there's like again, scaling and picking the right thing for everyone. You know, I think it's a cool tool, but you just got to pick your time and place for it.
I would say, okay, so I'll give you the extreme counterpoint.
Okay.
Drilling, because it is against an unresisting opponent. And you'll never be encountering an opponent with no resistance.
Correct.
True.
Drilling is a waste of time. So
That's extreme.
It's extreme.
Yeah.
So we're gonna dial it back, but that's the argument, is that it's a waste of time. That now I don't totally agree with that. Obviously, like I said, like there's tons of shit that I need to learn and just drill. And I've drilled a lot, but I do think that a lot of gyms, they drill for too long.
Yeah, totally.
I think even 30 minutes of drilling, it's a long time.
Yeah,
that's a long time. And most gyms are doing 45 minutes of drilling or more. And that's, in my opinion, like, dude, I've taken classes in Shanghai. I'm not going to name gyms. I've gone to take classes like oh, I'm going to go get some training. Maybe I only had, my lunch break. It was like an hour and a half. I'm going to go get some training. We do an hour of drilling.
Yeah.
That is a waste of my fucking time, right? So that... Sorry,
it was my gym.
No, it wasn't. I'm sorry, it wasn't Refuge.
And he was like, you know what? I said, we're all going to sit here and we're going to drill. And we're only going to drill, I don't know, something bullshit, like lasso guard.
Yep.
And he was fucking like, he just hated it.
Yeah. And then I broke down the windows and I
on the third floor.
Fought a child. We saw it. It was a whole thing. And he's left and gone to the US.
So that I don't think you need to drill for longer than 30 minutes. I even think the drilling in my classes now is like 15 to 20. Probably 20. Probably 20.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So, is that including how many techniques though?
That's probably like moves. That's like probably 3 techniques. That are related to something, right? Okay. So, I think that people put, because you got to remember, you can think about this from the perspective of somebody who does jiu-jitsu, that's their full-time thing, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. But for a lot of people, they're just trying to go to a class, get a workout, get some training in, and then go on to their next thing.
Yeah.
Right? I don't want to be rude, but like the people that you're talking about who just want to go and drill, they're not really contributing much to the room if they're not training.
Totally fair.
I mean, they're probably nice people, and I think there's nothing wrong with geeking out about technique, but like, my like kind of boss, I guess, at Monarch said the same thing. He's like, yeah, older guys, like, how are they going to keep up with the class that's like an hour of live work? But another thing that they do with the games is they'll set, I think I told you this yesterday, they'll set the timer for like 8 minutes, so it kind of teaches you to like pace yourself.
Yeah.
But either way, like, I do think that like in that hour, majority of the training should be live. It doesn't have to be regular rounds. It doesn't have to be like hard rounds, but you should be doing live stuff because that's like what you're there for. You're there for training, you know?
So from a consumer perspective, right?
Yeah.
I think it's important after rounds, either drilling or eco or some mix of, to have the instructor be like, what'd you guys learn? What'd you guys learn from from this round? Yeah. Don't tell me, just what did you guys figure out from this round?
Jason did that like at the end of a class. He'll do it sometimes where like he'll do a Q&A at the end of class, which is pretty sweet. So we'll like do all the CLA stuff, and then like regular round he'll be like, all right, Q&A.
I want you to give me what you learned, and then let's do it again. Now that you figured out what you've learned, or someone else has said it, let's go it again and do it one more time.
So I love this. So this is the issue, is that that's really hard to do in a class of like however many people.
40.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that gets a little crazy.
So this is again why I think it's so good for like small group or private training.
Yep.
When you're just focusing on a few athletes.
So fair. I think there's something to say that you could also train that in like in your team though. Like say if you had like a group of 3 or even with your own partner. So say like you set a game for me and Arthur. If you were to like train Arthur and I to then discuss about what worked for us in that moment and then like reevaluate, right? Now our answer might be dog shit, right? But that's the whole point, is that you're trying to teach people to critically assess what they've done.
Correct.
Yeah.
And actually think about it. Lachlan talked a little bit about this flipped classroom model that he likes to do with the pro team.
Yeah.
So like the pro team will go off and like research their own things they want to learn, then come bring it into the shop.
Yeah.
He said, I wish I could do it for the night class, but most consumers just don't have the time and don't really care about it. But he says like, it's the best way for us all to learn, right? It's like you bring in what you want to learn, so you're engaged with the content, and then I'm just there to like, you know, be so broad scope, like so broad that I actually can give you advice on those things, and we can
100%.
develop independently.
You have to be independent in your like training approach. Essentially.
Yeah.
I've noticed that as I've gotten older, it's just I can't take the normal group class stuff. It just, some of it just doesn't fit me. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
And it's not something that I really want to learn, so it doesn't excite me anymore.
That's
and then
why.
I'm kind of out.
Yeah, that's why like guys like Gordon Ryan can get so good, because there's just someone who's not training, who's watching them for every round, you know, and then can adjust accordingly. Yeah. But a lot of us don't have that. Most of our coaches are training too. So
I think I'm looking at the wave. The coaches now that are coming out are more and more like not competitors before or competitors at the time, which is going to be a welcome change. I'm really looking forward to the day when we don't expect our coach to beat the shit out of us for everything. I'm actually really, because especially myself, like I've, you know, like I said, 3 knee surgeries. I'm like, you know, I'm only 30, but like when I get to the point where I'm 50, 60 years old and I would like to be able to coach jiu-jitsu still, I don't want to have some dude, like some 20-year-old come in and have to convince him that jiu-jitsu works. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I just don't want to have to do that. Like, and like right now, especially in China, that happens. I still have people come in and like, and I had a guy just yesterday, actually, we had a guy at the gym. Happy to talk about it because it's the most ridiculous thing of all time. So he's like, yeah, man, I went and did some. He's an American dude. Instantly the worst, right? Instantly down in my books, bro. He comes in and he's like, yeah, like I wrestled a little bit back in high school, and like, you know, I went and did 1 or 2 jiu-jitsu classes in town. You know, man, this shit just doesn't work. You know, it just doesn't go. I'm not about it.
He's not wrong in some ways.
Yeah. Like if he wrestled like in high school and he was all right and he, you know, rolled a bunch of scrubs, sure, right? And he's like, it don't work. Has his son come and train? His son's been training for like 12 months.
Oh,
right?
really?
So his son's been training for quite a while, right? Like, so like he knows like like he's put his kid in it, so he knows, right? And to be fair, he did put his kid in because he knows I've got a wrestling background and we teach wrestling to the kids, blah blah. Anyway, so he's like, yeah, it's because like with my mentality, when I'm rolling with someone, I don't lose. Like I don't. Like I just don't.
I see red.
Yeah,
He's one of those
effectively,
guys.
yeah.
I
He's
see red.
he's effectively an
Yeah.
IC redder. Right?
I got you.
He's like, my mentality, like how I was taught to wrestle, like I don't accept losing positions.
It's a lot of wrestlers.
Yeah, and I just don't do that. So and when I go and roll with these guys, mate, it doesn't work. That's why I think this is. I was like, oh, yeah, okay, cool. He just went downstairs, like, so the same guy who said I see red, right? Wanted to then come in and have a look at like a private lesson I was teaching last night, and I'd like to hear your opinion actually on my new structure for private lessons, which I think would be just sort of use the CLA thing as well. But he was coming in and he's like, actually, you mind if I come? It's with the brown belt and a blue belt. These are the two people that are doing the class, right?
Yeah.
So they are good at jiu-jitsu. It's in the gi as well. He's been downstairs. I didn't notice until after. He's been drinking like 3-4 beers, like
Nice.
big old Asahis.
And he has a kid.
And he has a kid. Oh yeah, the kid was running in the street. It was a whole thing.
that sounds
It was
cool.
it was he's really like father of the year.
Mixed kid?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, you called it.
Nice.
So, anyway, so he's like coming and he's like asked to try and do some of this thing to see if it actually works. Like to see if there's like, and like I'm literally teaching like sort of like a CLA type of private lesson between a brown belt and a blue belt on guard passing in the gi. So like this is the most like not relevant information for this for this dude ever, right? Like, and we're talking about passing open guard in the gi, right? And he's like, oh yeah, I want to even go, and he gets in and he just gets absolutely pumped, like mollywobbed, like like the brown belt just like smokes him, just puts him on his ass, right? And he's like, you know what? I'm out of here, and then he like just fucks off, and he like throws a hissy fit, a whole tantrum, and like, bro,
This is last night?
It was last night. It happened last night.
Damn, that's awesome.
And I had to like go and like go down, and he's like, you know where my kid is? And I literally look at the window and I see his kid like running in on the street, like I was like,
Oh my
bro,
God,
man, I had to
wow.
like, kick this guy out. It was a whole thing, fucking.
Damn.
Anyway, yeah.
That
So anyway,
rules.
I like.
Do you know what part of America he's from?
I'll leave it unnamed. I'll leave him unnamed.
Damn.
But
Oh,
it starts
okay.
with M and it ends with Michigan.
Actually?
Yeah. So,
Oh, that's
yeah.
where I'm from.
Yeah, I know.
All right, well,
His
it
name
wasn't
was
me
Dean.
last
His
night.
name was Dean. He was
But
not Dean.
that's
but
cool.
he was. I do believe he's from the Michigan place. But,
Damn, that's crazy.
yeah. So anyway, it's a whole thing. But my new PT structure. Give me some advice. You guys tell me whether you think this is the. I've found great results in the sense that people walk away from the lesson feeling fantastic. They have a great time. That's not to say whether or not this is perfectly done. So what I'll do now is I'll effectively take a topic that the person's like, I'll diagnose and see some tape. So maybe the person like in this particular case, the blue belt was like doing very poorly at like open guard positions. So not only were they passing poorly, they were also like sweeping poorly, right? And so, but if they got into closed guard or a nice half guard, or
Feel very safe.
they were feeling safe and they actually had a game developed there, that felt like pretty good. So I'll diagnose that. Then I'll sort of break down what I think are like 5 like very key individual like attributes or like steps to which you would like go from A to B. It will be a positive thing for you. So in this sense, I had open guard sweeps. We did open guard passing, and then we did, and then next week we'll do like it's a 3-set thing. We'll do submissions from the bottom position, right? And then I'll break them into like say between 4 and 7 sort of like pit stops or points in that like process. So for example, like an open guard sweeping, I was like, first thing you do is get 4 grips, and like so you need to use all 4 appendages on the person, and ideally you have an upper body control and a lower body control.
Okay.
Right.
With the gi.
With the gi, right? With the gi. So like I might grab a pant and a sleeve, and my 2 feet are doing something, right? And there are like better ones and like less better ones, but that's like how it works. Second step is you need to break the balance, either hands or butt to the floor.
Right.
Right. Third step is to get, and this is like the bit of a controversial one, it's like a straight leg or an unweighted leg. So if you get the person's leg straight or unweighted, that would be like a win for you, right? And then the fourth one was to have a head and hip heist, so a point where your head and hips rise above the head and hips of the other person, right? And then the fifth one was to end up in a good passing position. So don't just end up in a point where you think is like you just end up and stand up and they're above them now. You need to put them in a position where you can then like continue the sequence that we're going to continue.
So sorry, so this is a game?
So what I'll do is those are the 5 steps that I've broken down for this.
Yeah, sure.
And then I'll gamify each of those steps.
Right.
So
Yeah,
we'll
that's
start
fine.
from the first game, and I'll say, okay, this first game, person on top, your goal is to like you start from open position, so one person is on seated guard, one person is standing. Person on top, you can't, in IBJJF rules, you have to come forward. So you can't just physically run away, but your goal is to just disengage grips. So it's like you're almost disengaging, right? In a sport context. And then person underneath, your goal is on bottom. Your goal is to like establish your foregrip, ideally top and bottom control of some description, and your feet do something.
Yeah.
So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And then we'll stage those games and like layer them on top.
Yeah.
So then once you've done the first one, now once you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, then you have to put a break balance on there. So their 2 hands touch the floor or their butt touches the floor. Then, only then, we'll play that game for like 3 minutes, top bottom switch, then we'll go to the next one. Then it's like, okay, now you need to move through all 3 steps of the stage.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, okay, grips, then hands to butt to the floor, then I need to see a straight leg moment or an unweighted leg moment, right? So like, and if I don't see that, the game continues going. You didn't win.
Yeah.
You didn't win a point, right?
Straight leg or unweighted. So you stop if that happens?
Yeah, stop and then reset.
Okay.
Yeah. So if I take for example, like you did like something like a tripod sweep, right? Like a tripod sweep would have like you would have 1, 2, 3, 4 in theory. Like you have the opposite hand sleeve grip, right? You maybe punch at their hip, right? Their butt touches the floor, but also you got their leg straight. Correct, right? So then
that's why you swept them, right?
Yeah, and that's why you swept them, right? That's how you got the sweep. So that also that straight leg, like my theory was that straight leg or the unweighted leg is also what allows for you to come up and finalize the sweep in many occasions, right? Because if the person has their knees tucked in towards their chest, they're more likely to be able to swivel and get up or react or pummel their legs in some regard. But if their leg is straight or unweighted, right, like they have no control over the leg at all, then that wouldn't count as a win.
Right.
Ideally, I wanted to see it straight because I find that straight, especially in the gi, that's like usually when you get past because the friction doesn't come as much. And then the fourth one was like a head and hip highest change. So you need to make sure your head and hips are above their head and hips. If you got the leg straight and got their butt to the floor, but you didn't get above them, well, you didn't really continue. You didn't really win that.
Right.
And then I'll layer those 5 games all together. And so now we get to a point where like by the end of it, the person's like feels like they've got much more like a system approach without necessarily like having learned moves.
Yeah.
Right. They were like, okay, I know I'm meant to go from A to B to C to D.
Right.
That's my current thing at the moment. People
like
love
it.
it. It's heaps of fun. We
Yeah.
might do one on Monday even, right?
I'm down.
Well, we'll do it just like that. But yeah, I think that's where I'll probably. You're right. I'm going to just do that for my PTs from now on. I think breaking it down like that and like solving that specific problem using that sort of approach. Yeah, fair. Anyway,
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I think I would learn a lot from that. And
Yeah.
I think it would be really cool at the end. I mean, I guess at the end, after each of the 5 steps, you're basically free sparring.
Yeah. Well, you are like effectively positional sparring, right?
You're positional sparring,
Yeah,
that's
right.
what I meant.
So
Yeah.
you're effectively like in an open guard position
Yeah.
where the person's trying to. To be fair, I did make it very clear. And this is where I think there's a bit of I still need to figure out how to make the game correctly. I pretty much told the other person, don't pass, just maintain the position.
It's fine.
Right? And so that's where I'm like, because there are many times when someone goes for a pass and you catch the opportunity.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not necessarily a sweep. So I think there's something that I could do in terms of game design to make that more applicable.
I think at the end, like I would prefer just like an open round at the very end.
Yeah,
And just to see if I can get from A to B to C, the 5 steps, with that person having no restraints. Like I think that at the end would wrap it all together for me.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, we'll try it on Monday.
Yeah, let's give it a shot.
If you guys want to come, Monday
Monday
nights
at
no
Refuge.
gi. Monday nights at Refuge. We do no gi.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
We'll do CLA. It'll be fun. Yeah, Dean will be there. Even when this podcast release and drops in like a couple weeks time,
I'll still be there that
he'll
next
be there.
Monday.
He'll be there. He'll be there that very Monday.
Yeah.
Even if you watch it in 3 years time, he'll
Yeah.
be there in the gi.
Beating up on Justin.
Beating the shit out of
Yeah.
me. Like he's done for the last like week and a half. It's been fucking nuts.
Oh, wait. Actually, I have a cool news headline to show you guys.
Oh, no.
This happened the day before I left.
It's gonna be
The day before I left New York.
Awful racial today. So.
No. Check this out.
Just read it aloud.
Breaking news. Police. Two men were sleeping inside Comac. Is that a place?
Comac. it's
Comac dumpster emptied into garage truck. One
no.
dead. Oh. All right.
It was down this road from Vancouver.
Whoa.
Behind the Whole
okay.
Foods.
Where are you training?
Dang.
Behind the Whole Foods. I train in a nice area. But it's weird. It's like, you'd think there's a lot of places to sleep. I don't know why a dumpster would.
It's warm.
It also smells like
Ooh.
trash.
Yeah, but it's warm. Oh, dumpster's
not-
always warmer.
Not particularly cold over there, but.
How the fuck do you know if a dumpster's warm?
I've
Dude,
been-
one guy got
I've
put
been
in the
to one or
truck,
two
he got
dumpsters.
crunched.
Isn't it?
The other guy hurt his leg in the trash truck.
Jeez.
Poor guy, fuck.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's usually warm in there. But I don't know how the weather is out there. But I'm assuming they went in there to stay warm or get a little
I guess
nasty.
And yeah, I was going to say, I feel like it's a privacy thing, right?
Yeah.
If you're going to go into a dumpster, that's okay. Like, you want some
You
time.
can do anything could happen in the dumpster.
Yeah, man.
Gross.
Nobody's
Yeah,
looking.
yeah, like inside, behind, it's all.
Outside Vanguard? Are they
No,
doing this?
behind Whole Foods.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Down the road from.
Vanguard would never had anything so vile, so
No,
terrible
no.
having a Vanguard.
We just have like John Pork seminars.
What's that? What's a John Pork? I
have no idea.
Dude, you
I
guys
have
don't
no
know
idea.
John Pork?
No.
That sounds like a porno name though.
There was
John
this-
Pork
John
is like
Pork?
yeah. That's
There was
like
this
Something I'd watch.
the guys are always making like fake pictures and flyers, and there's some guy. It's like a meme. You haven't seen it where it's like John Pork is calling you.
No.
no.
It's
I'm not on the internet as much as you, clearly.
It's this.
I have no idea what this is. That like it
It's
freaks
just a
me out.
guy. It's just a guy that like they like shopped him to look like a pig,
Oh, no. I've never seen this in my life.
Yeah, right.
You are,
And then,
you are on the
uh,
internet
You're
way too
far
much.
too much.
and then they like made a
Yeah.
flyer. It was like, for the first time stateside, John Pork will be making an appearance. 4th degree black belt. It was like the John Pork, but he's wearing a gi, and it had like the Vanguard logo on it.
That's
And they were like, they posted had like one of the black belts of Vanguard. It had like his phone number as a
Oh,
contact.
no, really?
And they posted it on Instagram, and then everyone just got really mad at the guys.
man.
Jason and the other guy was just like, you guys are
The
so fucking
shenanigans
immature."
that go on in fucking jiu-jitsu schools is fucking
So good.
unreal, man.
Yeah.
Unreal.
It's so much tamer here. I feel
Uh,
like here we are way more tame than...
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, people just come in, they train, they kind of, like, hang out for a little bit and they're peace.
Well, you guys don't have John Pork here,
Yeah, that's...
No, we don't.
you know.
No, we don't. We get some stuff like every now and then, but like it's usually like some guy sleeps with some girl.
Yep.
Or like
Probably
or like
Brazilian.
yeah. I'll call it. I'll say
Yeah.
it. I'll say it out loud. I don't mind. The other thing you get sometimes like injury stuff. Like I remember there was some kid maybe like a couple months ago like fucking like flipped over some girl and she like smacked her neck or whatever. Like just like stuff like that happens. But outside that, pretty tame.
Yeah.
Except with like how to say with like fight sports, like if you go into like MMA
yeah.
or kickboxing, those usually have some like
Yeah.
weird shit go down. Those guys
yeah.
are a little bit more
I don't
wild
want,
child.
I don't want to name any names, but we know a certain someone who's pretty good at jiu-jitsu who went to a kickboxing gym in
Oh, yeah.
city.
I saw...
and got knocked out. Yeah.
I actually don't know. Now I don't know.
You don't know about that?
No.
There's
I did not.
someone we know. He's a jiu-jitsu kid. Went to a gym in a city. It's not Shanghai.
Okay.
And some like kickboxing
Yeah,
guys
that
were
happens.
like, oh, like we don't think jiu-jitsu works.
Oh.
And then just like knocked out like a teenage kid. These guys were like adults.
Yeah.
Brutal.
That's a mistake.
Brutal, man.
Pretty cool. Pretty
No.
cool stuff going on over here.
Yeah, it's not as fun, not as zany tales as dumpster
Yeah.
man. You know,
Or Zane. or
But
my-
striking
yeah.
places have like that Thai influence where they're always just like, I'm drunk all the time, smoking right after class. Like that Thai influence is wild.
I don't know. Yeah.
The Muay
I
Thai
guess.
people that I train with
Yeah.
here in Pudong,
Yeah.
like right after class, not even like a moment after, outside smoking,
Yeah,
like
that's
pretty
with
cool.
a beer in her hand and just
Totally. Those are truly the golden days of martial arts when like so like my old man, my grandfather, he was a Golden Gloves boxer, and there's this like famous photo at home of him, like he's like at a local like retired services, like a retired like a veterans like club. We have these like pubs like that are owned by the veterans society or whatever, and there's a photo of him up there. And his face it's right after a fight, right after the Golden Gloves, like championship, whatever. And his face looks
Beat up.
fucked. It's like he's been attacked by bees. Like he's just like he looks like the Elephant Man. He's just fucking face totally fucked up. Smiling. Still's got his hand wraps on, right? 2 cigarettes in one hand, right? 2 lit up at the same time.
Nice.
2 cigs and a beer in his hand. And he's just like this. And he's looking at it smiling like he's
Of
like
course.
happy
Time of
happy
his
to
life.
speak.
Yeah.
And you know what? I respect that.
Me too.
So hard. That
Me
was
too.
like the shit. Like to this day, I still think that's the most hard photo of all time.
Yeah.
And like that's truly what I aspire to be. Like if I was going to be a fighter again, I want to
Yeah.
be that wild cowboy shit. I want to just like go off into the sunset, get into like because I think he had like 6 fights that day. He had like 6 boxing matches to win the thing.
It's one of those tournament things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Golden
it's
Gloves. Yeah.
Everyone's too healthy these days, you know. Everyone's got a heart rate monitor, tracking their macros.
I hate that shit.
Why?
I got really angry at people about heart rate monitors because
Why?
I'm convinced that they are a
Gimmick?
scam to keep people buying more shit.
Dude, that's what pro athletes use, though.
Yeah, but are you a pro athlete? Like, do you
I
really
mean,
need this thing to
no,
improve?
but if you want to be one,
Yeah, but you're not going to be at 30.
well, there's guys at Vanguard who use them.
Yeah.
They're mostly under 30. Is that okay with you, Arthur?
No, barely.
Do you approve them?
No,
of that?
they're probably not.
All right, well,
I think here's my theory on this, right? I think in 100 at least 100 years time, it will be a very foreign concept to all of us, or especially our children, right? To think that we wouldn't know what's happening inside our body.
yeah.
You just drove around the world and you didn't know you had like a fucking a cancer in
Yeah.
your body or
Yeah.
whatever. Like you just did that, Grandpa. That's a thing, and like that is the future, right? You're
Yeah,
just gonna know,
probably. They're just
right?
know, yeah.
And so like the heart rate monitor is just the first step
Yeah.
to that. You know what I mean? And that
The next one's going to be more invasive.
yeah, totally. And I
Go
think
up your butt.
you're either like on
Whoa,
that board.
Whoa, hey, yo.
Hey, don't tempt him with a good time. All right.
Yeah, wait, what do you think about
Exactly.
this? Jumping reverse close guard.
Oh wow, that was
pretty cool, right?
He's a pretty thick unit to be able to hit that as well. I'm gonna be real. Like he's not
Send me
thick
that
and like
too.
head
Whatever
thick.
video that is, send me that.
What do you think about that?
Look at him. He's like
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Jeez.
yeah.
Pretty cool, right?
I
All
don't
right, I gotta pee.
Yeah, go.
And I gotta.
We're ending it soon.
Yeah.
Let me just. I
Alright.
want to actually hear the end of
Alright.
Justin's take,
Oh, shit, my bad.
and then
I think
we'll wrap it up.
the future will be that we like it'll be strange for us to think that we didn't like know what was going on in our bodies.
Yeah.
So you're either on board with that or you're off board
I'm off
with that,
board.
right? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Get that right. Then you got to be off board with all the other things that come with like knowing about your health.
Like
Right.
what?
Like the idea of getting a massage, or the idea of like
I
because
see
you
where
know
you're
you
I
see what I'm
where you're
saying?
going with this.
Like
yeah.
you know, like, because you can't say, yeah, the massage makes me feel better and now I'm going to do better for my health.
Yeah.
When you actually don't know if that does anything for your health because you couldn't track it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm of the opinion that, like, I have a step counter. It helps
On
me
your
track
phone,
my
yeah.
steps. I'm going to be buying one. I've actually already
Strap.
purchased the strap Whoop one. I'm going to try and wear that as much as possible. I'm going to try and track these things, and so I can actually like measure my strain and my sleep and all that sort of stuff much better. Because I find that if I don't, I'm sort of just like guessing that things are going to help me, and like I don't think guessing's going to help anyone. So that would be my 2 cents back. Is that
Okay.
That's
And my response would be, you're probably right in that if you had the data and matched it with this is how I feel, and you had both, so you could kind of link data to how you feel.
Sure.
And eventually maybe you won't need the data anymore.
Yeah.
But having the data for a while and matching it to here's my current state,
Right.
I think it's beneficial. But I think the people that completely disregard how they feel and only look at data,
Right.
which is a lot, I think those people are putting themselves at a significant disadvantage because they're only looking at the data, and the data is not as accurate as you think it is.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, no, it's also a good point.
And
yeah.
I see so many people that are just like, I ran this much, this was my heart rate. How often is that heart rate monitor like on?
Really
It's-
actually going.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's there, but it's not great data right now.
Right.
I think most people are just using that data so they can post it on Instagram
Yeah.
or whatever. And I'm great, but I think there was X generations of people who were elite and did not use this data and still got good. There's a reason behind
Yeah.
that. Like I think they were
Yeah.
just very in tune with with their body.
Totally, and I think like, but then imagine you then democratize that to many more
Yeah.
people. And to your point, like if it was perfect, then it would be a very useful tool.
It'd be very
right?
useful.
I think there's a place where, and eventually it will get to the point where obviously the wellness Instagramification of things
Yeah.
is obviously a bit frustrating, but like there will be a point where like you'll have like right now, like my diet and stuff, like I don't track it too hard, but like all my lifting and everything else,
Yeah.
I can write my own program. I do the strength and conditioning thing. I get AI to do it all.
Yeah.
And like I get to re-update all my things. I put it through my app. It all updates automatically. I put in how shitty I'm feeling that day. It'll tell me how to like scale it back.
Yeah.
Having it do that for me is actually a huge plus. Right now, imagine if I could instantly add my heart rate into that and like how my strain is. And that will just like flow together nicely. If once it all fits together nicely, man, that's gonna be a huge like boost to my health and my like better, like
And a
just
lot
feeling
less
better.
time that you're spending on it. You know, I
Totally.
get that.
Yeah. And so I'm sort of pro of it. I'm sort of on that same on the same team. I know you want to go soon, but I've been on the health and wellness train thing. This is a really interesting sort of. Do you guys know what a myostatin inhibitor is? Have you ever heard of this?
No.
A myostatin inhibitor.
Maybe.
So like everyone knows Ozempic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
GLP-1s, right? So like there was like this recent study that happened, and it was on monkeys, not humans. So we can't say it's definitive, but you know there are these new drugs that are effectively coming out that are myostatin inhibitors. Myostatin is the effectively what your body produces to tell your muscles to stop growing, so you can utilize those calories in other parts of your body, right? And so nowadays it's not necessarily as useful in our modern diet, but back in the day when you would eat a certain amount of food, you didn't want your muscles to continue to grow forever because you would need those calories to go to your brain or other things, and you know, and so myostatin was useful then. In our modern diets, not so much. These drugs effectively will continue your muscle cells to like continue growing much further than like previously.
Okay.
And so effectively has all the benefits of what testosterone gives you, but without any of the androgenic side effects. So you don't get, you know, any hormonal changes. And this is set to come out in about 2 years' time.
Right.
And I think like this is going to be I'm actually so pro Ozempic, pro this myostatin stuff. I think it's crazy, right? That we don't make this like mass market for everyone to have. And see what I'm saying? This is why I wanted to get it out. Now, to give you a bit of data on it though, and I'm gonna fuck the specific numbers up, but effectively there were four groups of monkeys. One was just put on a diet, like just pure like calorie deficit, right? One was given Ozempic. One group of monkeys was given Ozempic. One group of monkeys was given a certain type of myostatin inhibitor, not the cutting edge one, but a current one we have, and Ozempic. And then one was given the most cutting edge myostatin inhibitor and Ozempic, right? And I think the third one as well, like the shittier myostatin and the good one. So it's all four together, right?
Yeah.
The monkeys who just on a diet, they lost something like 400 grams of fat, I think like 60 grams of muscle mass or whatever. So like, you know, the percentage was pretty relatively low, but compared to their body mass, it's quite a lot of weight they lost, right?
Yeah.
The Ozempic monkeys lost, it was 15 grams of muscle mass, 400 grams of fat. The Ozempic monkeys lost 700 grams of fat, right? And 60 grams of muscle mass. So significantly more muscle mass. 4x the muscle mass was lost, but like nearly double of the fat was lost as well. So these monkeys got really slim,
Really skinny.
right? Then there was the old myostatin guys and the Ozempic monkeys, right? They lost 1,300 grams of fat, right? And lost 15 grams of muscle.
Wow.
So significantly less muscle. So the same as a calorie deficit, but lost like, you know,
Way more
nearly. Here's the scary part, the fucking craziest bit. This is like science fiction. I'll send you guys the study. The last group of monkeys are on the latest myostatin one, the one that'll get dropped in 2027. Same calorie deficit as everyone else. Same diet, right? Lost 1,400 grams of fat and gained 200 grams of muscle.
Jeez.
Right?
Sounds cool.
That sounds fucking dope as fuck to me, right? That sounds like, and they had zero androgenic side effects.
All right.
Absolutely zero, right? So no getting anxious and angry, no like risk of like testicular stuff going forward, none of the negative downsides that could be associated with like testosterone, like that you could say that if you mismanaged it or weren't doing like all those things, or not even mismanaged, just like as a part of that, just these things, right? To me, this is the Superman era. We're going to be able to look, and remember, the monkeys didn't do any weight training. Yeah, this is just them on a calorie deficit, just fucking hanging out. Right? Yeah. This is going to be the future, and I'm fucking living for it. I'm so dope. Do you think this is a good thing or a bad thing for society? That's my question to you guys. He's like, it's good as fuck.
I don't know. I feel like it just takes me a long time to try anything new, so it probably won't affect me for a long time. But
would you do it? Or for society in general, is it good?
I don't really think. I mean, Ozempic, don't you have to take it like forever once you start taking it?
Same with this Mustard and stuff.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably not good. So, also I heard like Ozempic gives you really gnarly burps, makes your burps smell really bad, and it makes you burp a lot.
You look like Superman. Your body looks like Superman. You doing a little burping, I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't
Some
know.
people.
I mean,
I'm playing devil's advocate.
I mean, people can do whatever they want, but I kind of think I don't really think Ozempic is good. Personally.
Interesting. Right. Okay. No, so anti-Ozempic.
I don't really feel very strongly about it. It's just like, I mean, I guess it could be useful for some people. I don't know. I don't really have a strong opinion about it. It's just like my gut reaction is like, it's probably not good.
I'm a Dean on this one. I'm not huge. I don't have a huge dog in the fight.
Right.
But I do think that the easy pill is always a mistake. Like, if you are doing the easy way out, there's going to be some side effect in society that forces other people to also maybe take the easy way out. I would rather have people just do it the old-fashioned way. In most cases.
Right.
I think the old-fashioned way to build muscle, to just work hard at it. There are other benefits that go along with this.
I mean,
You're doing it without any of the journey, and you are skipping to the end.
I mean, Adderall is like kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of times, like, you know, a lot of my friends in college would take it and they'd be like, yeah, I'll take Adderall and I'll do work, but it's like, I could have just done this without it. That's always what they'd say afterwards. They'd just be like, I could have just done all this without it. So, I mean,
I think there's a corporate greed component to this, though, right? So,
Yeah,
like,
for
people
sure.
are like, you know, more sensitive to food and hunger. You know, that's real. And people who are maybe like more neurotic or maybe more like compulsive, you know, and you know, that's like a, you know, and Adderall was originally designed for people who had like, you know, sort of poor impulse control on these things. Not necessarily poor impulse control, but you could say like, you know, associated with that. And those people then now like bombarded with cheap processed foods in front of them constantly, right? And Ozempic does a really great job at like, you know, making that go down. Like you physically don't eat it. Like you don't feel like you want to eat that. And so that's the beauty of it, is that like it sort of controls the food hunger aspect to it.
Yeah.
Right? And so I think that's where I'm sort of pro Ozempic. I think that, you know, when you're one person against like a mega conglomerate of the food industry giving you processed shit, I think that's a little bit different to say you can go the hard way out.
I have a friend that made that exact argument, and I understand that argument.
Yeah.
In fact, I'd be willing to do if it was only prescribed to people who had weight issues or like people who had issues with food. But inevitably, it's going to end up in the hands of bodybuilders or whoever.
It already is.
It's already in those people's hands who don't need it, and they are really only doing it for vanity or for, and it's hard to draw that line.
Totally.
Is what I'm saying. But I just feel like that easy way out is going to force society to ask of higher standards from everyone. And eventually everyone will go that route and be like, well, I'm working so hard in the gym and that guy's taking these 2 shots. Why am I working so hard? And even most people with some discipline will last, but they can't last forever.
Yeah, but I think that's good. I think once we get past that, and I think there's a value in like getting past the vanity thing. So like when beauty becomes so easy, in the body that you really want becomes so easy, right? The jealousy factor actually drops because now it's actually more available to you. Because jealousy is built off what I can have and what I can't have.
Sure.
Right? And so like I think that as the playing field levels on those things, right? It'll actually be less so about vanity over the long run. In the short run, you're right?
That jealousy is going to find another thing that they're going to be jealous
Yeah,
of.
and it's probably get money where people can afford those things and stuff, right? But I think there is something to say that the health outcomes that you get from these things, right? So significantly longer lifespan for sure, right? There's significantly lower weight. All those things are tied to obesity. You know, Australia and America both have the same issue in that obesity is the biggest cause of most issues.
China's coming up
as well.
Yeah.
And like this solves that problem without necessarily having major negative downfalls, right? And so I think like it feels good to say like the good old fashioned way is the way to go forward because that's how we've always done it before. But that the food is not how we've always done it before either.
I know.
So then
I know.
like we're playing a different game now, and so we may as well use the farm.
And we might use better tools now.
That's right.
It's kind of stupid, or it's kind of sucks because it's like, all right, we have to take a drug to get us off the other drugs, which is the bad food
Yeah.
that's been put in society. And it's like kind of like a cycle.
Yep.
Like that doesn't really end.
Yeah.
And then like, yeah, anyways, I don't really have a strong opinion. Like I remember hearing about it just being like, oh, well, okay. Like I don't really have a strong opinion about it because personally I feel like society's already kind of like cooked. So just like don't really, I'm just like, I'm not surprised. People want to take it. I don't care. I'm not going to take it. So it doesn't affect me, you know?
No, I get your point of view, and it makes sense. We're using this tool to combat, the new technology in foods. I get it.
Yeah, and I think that in line with these myostatin inhibitor stuff is going to be super important, right? Like, imagine we can add muscle mass to your grandpa who's like, like really, really old, and now he's
I
actually,
thought about that too.
and that's going to be a huge win for him. And then also someone who has like body dysmorphia, right, is going to be able to like actually have that body, right?
No,
now,
it's only going to make it worse.
No, I don't think it is, right? So I think because the access to be able to change and move your body around is going to be so much higher, right?
Yeah, but they're just going to cut up something else. They're going to start like, body dysmorphia eventually goes to like, tattooing your eyeballs or something like that. Like at some point, it's just going to keep. They need to change something. Like it's a mental problem.
But now at least we've solved the physical issue in terms of what your body looks like.
What about tattooing your balls?
Would you ever do it?
Would you do it?
Have you done it?
No, I haven't. But maybe one day.
I'd want it to look like an eagle, right? So on either side, there's like a wing on either side on one nut, right? And then that's like the eagle's
It's a good place to end this podcast. Thank you very much. I'll see you guys later.
All right. What are we gonna eat?
Whatever you want to eat.
What's around?